Woo! We are back. Short break. Talking about Summer House and the city was a
I
lot.
am refreshed. I had to eat. I was about to pass out.
I didn't eat anything, but I certainly took a breather, drank some water, put some chapstick on, moistened the smackers, so that we could do some more yapping.
Let's get into it. Where are we? Oh, wait, I have something to say.
Okay.
No, but listen, Sheree, I hate my upstairs neighbor. I hate him. And it's not like he's really not that bad. I think he's like European, but
Okay.
when Dan lived upstairs, I would hear him move like maybe a desk chair at night. It was really nothing. I almost forgot he was up there until I saw him. This guy has a sound bar. And at random times, he will have that sound bar on full blast to the point where I remember this vividly. He was watching the Grammys, and I had already watched the Grammys. So that's how I knew what was going on. I could hear it perfectly in my apartment.
Oh, that would
He
bother
will
me.
play he would play like he'll play techno music in the middle of the day. And then I'm like at my desk working, and all of a sudden my heart's doing this, and I'm like, why am I feeling anxious? It's because he's playing goddamn techno music at like 10:30 in the morning.
Well,
It's
you
just like,
already
and thank
know.
God he cuts it after like 10:30. Like it's not like in the middle of the night, and I can't hear it in my bedroom. So I think he's just doing all in his living room. But I'm just like, and then my dad was here dog sitting. He's like, did your neighbor always listen to his TV so loud? I'm like, yeah, sometimes.
I mean,
I'm like this
I've
close to
always
calling the leasing
had
office.
neighbors from hell. So
Yeah.
definitely can relate. They make me understand why HOAs exist.
I'm saying I'm
Like,
about to call the leasing office, but I'm I'm really trying not to be that girl.
yeah. I
But
mean,
yeah. So I hope
you
he doesn't start up while I'm trying to record.
you already
I'll
know
lose it.
I will, hold on just a second. Let's take a pause just for a sec here. All right, sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties. You know how that shit go. Anyway, um, let's go. Oh, so you're back to your neighbor. Neighbor problems suck.
No,
I've
I just had to
had
get that off my chest.
no, and like I've had the same neighbor problems for like literally 15 years. 15 years. They don't
Yeah.
move, we
Yeah.
don't move. We're just at a stalemate at this point, and it's like ain't nobody going nowhere, so it's like learn to respect each other or it's just gonna be war because that's the kind of bitch I am. I don't give a fuck.
Oh wait, I forgot some of the crazy stories
Oh
about you and
yeah,
your
I
neighbor.
mean that's a whole nother podcast. I could go on
No,
that
it's
show that's on
literally.
HBO easily. The one that's about neighbors that be going at each other. Have you ever heard of that show? I think it's called The
No.
Neighbors. Girl, there's
You
a
know
show.
all of the niche shows.
Well, yeah. But like there's a show and it's on HBO and that's all it is stories about like asshole neighbors that go at it.
I love that.
So, speaking of a bunch of people that can't stand each other and may or may not be neighbors,
I don't even
wacky,
know where we're going with this.
wackest segue ever. Let's talk about Housewives of Atlanta. Because, girl,
Okay, I thought you were gonna go there.
we pick right back up with Kelly saying she didn't want Portia's chili cheese Frito puss. And my notes say one thing Portia's gonna do is if you're her adversary and she runs out of things to say, she gonna say you wanted to fuck her at some point. That is her
She's
go-to,
like, anyways, you were trying to fuck. Like,
like to mic drop. That's Portia's. I said what I said. Like, oh well,
literally.
if all else fails, bitch, you wanted me. Like, only in Atlanta would that be the read that somebody goes for.
Okay, can we just say Atlanta is the gayest cast ever?
Like, I would say them and low key Orange County, because that Tamara gets to drinking and she gets to taking them clothes off and doing.
See, I was gonna say Salt Lake.
Do they do gay shit on Salt Lake?
Maybe now that Jen is gone, maybe not.
Because New York, they don't get down like that. We know Miami doesn't get down like that. Sometimes Orange County gets a little weird. Beverly Hills really doesn't get down like that. Potomac really doesn't get down like that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it was just Jen and Heather.
Yeah, because Jersey definitely doesn't get down like that. Now, let some time pass. I don't know. I might be able to see Rhode Island in certain capacity getting down like that.
If Liz told me she was a power lesbian, I'd believe her.
Sure. Um, I don't understand why Portia not going to Kelly's event keeps coming up by way of Kelly. You don't like
Kelly is a loser.
Portia.
I
You
don't
know,
like Kelly. I don't like looking at her. She has those 800 cc's. I'm just like,
did you see how she's
enough.
getting dragged for that t-shirt confessional look?
Because she tried to say, did you see like how, oh, you sent it to me, how she's like, it's a dress. No, it was a big t shirt and it was only form fitting because your titties are so
Even
huge.
if it was a dress, time and a place. And the
It was
confessional,
just like,
like,
because she thinks she's fabulous. She thinks she's a style icon and she is none of that.
at the end of the day, a t-shirt dress is still a fucking t-shirt dress. I don't care if you have 36 bundles in your hair. It's still she looked like a part of the Lollipop Guild. Like she's so
No,
small. It looked like she was wearing her boyfriend's like there's a Bravo page. It's like we ego, but it stands for what else is going on. She like edited a meme and said Adina Howard would be proud, and it was Kelly in that t-shirt, and she's playing t-shirt and my panties on. She was playing that song,
it literally
and
looked like she just got done or she was trying to be sexy to get the do
that's what I'm
going.
saying. It definitely looked like she.
And then
I
her makeup
mean,
also looked a little
shout
unfinished.
out to all the black women that have written songs about being in their man's t-shirt. Destiny's Child, Adina
When you're not
Howard.
here, asleep in your t-shirt. Oh,
The
I love that
thing-
song. That was
Yeah,
a really good album.
arguably their best.
No,
Destiny
100.
Fulfilled goes, and it's timeless. It's a non-skip.
Yes.
Like, ugh,
Oh, so
anyways, we could
now
be
I'm gonna
here
go
all
listen to
day.
it.
These old ladies don't know the difference between a bust down and iced out. And it was very troubling to me because they're from Atlanta, where a lot of
Yeah,
this slang.
I thought the whole bust down wrist, bust down watch
Well,
came
that's
from
the
Atlanta.
thing. They didn't even have the lingo right because, okay, a bust down does refer also to a middle part with a
But
nice.
we had the context of jewelry.
Right. So we're talking about a bust down as it relates to a rock. And we're suburban girls. Okay? Let me put that out there. We are not from the hood. We are suburban girls. So if we know this, why and I mean I know Cynthia's on the older side, but the rest of those girls should be with the shits. How do we
Especially
not know
Drew,
this?
Little Miss Chicago.
I was thoroughly disappointed.
I was so
And then
confused
you
as to
guys
why
don't
they were
know the
confused.
difference between bust down and iced out?
It was so confusing. I was so troubled.
I was just like, I very rarely say this to people because being black is not a monolith, and I kind of hate it when people do this. But I was like, I am pulling your black
But
card.
there's certain things I think are just universal.
I was appalled. I was
No,
appalled.
I was confused. Like, what's going on?
So, why Shamia's trying to pass off that she's not the person going to K Michelle and saying all of these delusions is beyond me.
I just can't with the B squad. They
I just
really pissed me off.
she just always tries to act like she's so innocent and not capable of what she's being accused of. But this is the same person that met with Ralph last season. And like attaching to Drew as a beef is so tired and contrived because it's easy. It's easy to grab onto Drew just like it's easy to grab onto Gina Kirschenheiter in Orange
Mhm.
County. It's low-hanging fruit. And at the end of the day, why Shamia still wants to have beef with Drew is beyond me. Drew did not ruin your relationship with Portia. Angela did not ruin your relationship with Portia. Yours and Portia's relationship has been flawed long before you even held a
Yep.
peach. You were not even a full-time cast member when we were like, something's wrong with her. And also, let's not forget, because I recently rewatched this season as it was on the Amazon Prime channel. Um, you're the same person also. You weren't even a cast member when you went on a trip with Eva and all them and called out the fact that you heard that Eva slept with Missy Elliott. Like, why would you do that? Why was that your business? So for you to sit there and act like you're not capable of running to K Michelle and putting things in her ear, I'm calling bullshit on that.
You know what? Shamia is to Portia what Danielle is to Lindsay.
Wait, Shamia is the Porsche. Sure. Okay.
Because it's like you're almost there, but your friend will always be the top dog, and you're not even close.
And like
Shamia just has
on
more money.
paper, on paper, Shamia should have been that girl. Recently, Carrie Hilson just did an interview where she said she was in a girl group with Shamia at one point. We know
But
Portia
Shamia
was.
just doesn't have the it girl factor.
She doesn't
Portia
have like
does.
that je ne sais quoi, and it's
Yeah,
not
she's just
even.
there. She's
It's not
pretty.
even looks wise because I think Shamia is a gorgeous woman. I really
Yeah,
do.
so
Um,
gorgeous.
well, for one, she's one of those rich people that dresses tacky rich instead of chic rich. Like she's gonna wear labels from head to toe, which is fine, but make it subtle. Like you don't
But
have to
I
look
think
like Babs.
a lot of Southern women don't know how to dress. And
Okay.
um kind of she kind of dresses like an African.
Oh, Courtney, shut up. I
Is she
mean,
not? Is she not getting more African tacky as the
but
days go
like,
by?
I mean, out here where we're from, it's like it's not just Africans, like Persians, like oh, there's just a subset of certain kinds of people with money where we're from, where
Yeah.
that's just how they come across. And I mean, I think we all learned on America's Next Top Model. I don't know if that's a bad reference these days, but like wearing a bunch of labels does not equal fashion. It does like all it tells us is that you spent a lot of money. But if you spent a lot of money and you still look as tacky as Kelly does, I think that's money that could have been better spent.
She needs a stylist. She needs like, and it sucks because Shamia's body's great, her face is beautiful. She's just tacky and boring.
Let's talk for a minute about K Michelle and the delusions. There's so many things with K Michelle that I am just
It was alarming.
completely. It's beyond alarming because it's like, again, back in the Love and Hip Hop days, and I'm always gonna keep referencing that because she keeps referencing things
She won't
that the
let it go.
Bravo audience is completely unaware of, like the fact that there was a rumor that you had a less than pleasant smelling underpuss. That's the rumor that she's bringing up. Is
That
that you
I have never heard that rumor, by the way.
most
Have you?
people haven't because again, you're talking about a niche audience. These are people that listen to the Breakfast Club that remember this rumor. And the only reason I remember it is because she got in Angela Yee's ass for bringing it up and told her that she didn't support women. And as a woman, how could you try to humiliate? Like, I remember it vividly because I was like, because I can't
See, I
stand
don't
Angela
listen to the
Yee.
Breakfast Club a lot because I hate Angela Lee. She's so stupid.
Right. So my point is that was years ago. It was dead
Yeah.
in the water. I totally forgot it was even a thing. And then here's my thing. You're on Housewives where quite literally it's their job to figure out a way to take you down.
It is their job to fuss with each other, to throw shade. It's like,
And
where
it's
did you
your
think? Do you think
job
you're going to like a nunnery?
It's your job to take that information, put it in your pocket, and be like, bet, and get on your defense shit and play ball. If Portia and Phaedra and Drew are in fact planning to take you down, why can you not meet them with the same energy that you met Rashida and Kirk with on Love and Hip Hop?
She is like a whole different person. And I swear it has something to do with her husband.
Well, let's talk about this man. What the fuck is going on there? Because for one, she's constantly saying, I'm married. As a married woman, I'm married, I'm married. You say that you allow him to sleep with other women. You're
Oh,
getting,
wait.
So she's
No,
doing she
she
so
sleeps with other women,
no, no,
not
no,
him.
no, 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 no. She's doing a bunch of press right now. She's doing a lot of,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So she's doing a bunch of press right now. She's done Shannon Sharp's podcast. I want to say Hollywood Unlocked. She's doing that Chitlin circuit, so to speak. And she was on, I think, Shannon Sharp's, and she said she's okay with her husband sleeping with other women because she just believes all men are going to cheat anyway. So, with that said, you're upset about how it could be perceived with you as a married woman having some connection to Black, who everybody I've heard on this show talk about Black talks about him like he's a mosquito in their ear, like, ugh, get it, ugh, like, you know.
literally, like he's so non-important. Everyone's just like, yeah, okay, black, whatever, next, move on.
So if Drew didn't know that he got in your DMs, she didn't know that he got in your DMs. Again, don't make me defend Drew, but I truly don't think she's being malicious when she makes the connection that you guys are friendly. That's
Yeah,
human nature.
and
When
it was
we
like a
meet
throwaway
somebody and
comment.
we know we have a person in common and that's all we have in common, that's going to naturally come up.
It
I mean,
was
is it me?
the whole breakfast. I'm like Angela. I was like,
Angela
girl, eat
had
some
me on the
food.
floor.
Girl, eat some
Everybody else
food.
is like, oh, K, K, K. And she put her head down like, child, not again.
Because enough with the tears. I hate to sound like Michael's mom, but why are you such a crybaby? You've got to quit crying. It's
She has a
weird.
full breakdown at breakfast. And then it was
And
like,
you know who you
I
are.
was going to
And
say,
I swear, you go get your.
I was like, are you a singer or an actress?
I said, did
Because
somebody hurt your child?
I was like,
I'm confused. Did
the
someone
fact
hurt
that
your child?
you guys are trying to take me down. And I was just like, where, first of all, and then you're going off of somebody calling you and telling you that. First of all, that's a bold-faced fucking lie.
Thank
The
you.
person
Just
who called you was coming from inside the house. Their name was Shamia with her big
because
booty that's too big for those legs that they're on.
in what
It was a
world
mess.
would some random person know to call you about your stinky puss the day they're talking about oysters? And I, in my mind, Faith Portia was referencing her own coochie
That's what I think as well.
because she just called her a Frito pie coochie.
Hello. Hello.
And it's like with Kay, it's almost like a hit dog will holler. You have been so insecure about this stink puss coming up that you've been like on edge about it.
Well,
Somebody
on her
talks about a
Chitlin Circuit press run, she's like, my son got bullied over this rumor and all this shit.
ma'am,
And
I
I'm
don't
just
care.
like, your son has probably been bullied for less. Because also, I forget, like, Love and Hip Hop is not her only show she was on. She also had her own show that was centered around her and her life on VH1 back in the day. After that, and
I
I
remember, I didn't
remember
watch
her
it, but I
friend
remember this.
Paris stole all this money from her, and she like low key went crazy on that show. So again, this is not a woman who is not used to addressing conflict
Yeah.
on TV. So I don't even know what to do with her anymore at this point mentally because you're not saying any of the smoke that you have for these women to their face. You're doing it all on Twitter.
But you're doing it to their face in a very weird way. Like you're trying to take me down and I know who you are. And it's just like, but they're all in the room. Everyone's like, what did we do to you? Please tell us. And your mom. It's weird. I'm like, okay, you've got to go. Somebody,
And then you've got Shamia like, okay. And then Shamia's acting like the girl. Remember in high school where like a girl would be crying and her friend would sit there and be like, guys, she doesn't want to talk about it. Guy, like she's the only one that knows what happened. It's like she'll tell you when she's ready. That's what Shamia's acting like.
exactly. Somebody said she's acting like Kim Fields. And I said, yes.
Sure.
Remember how Kim Fields is like, you guys are so mean. Did you not watch the show?
Yeah. And why were the husbands even at this event?
As someone who plans galas for a living, that was not a gala.
Can we also talk about how that man was on the phone crying like somebody died when he called to tell Cynthia that that event was getting rained out? First of fucking all, You planned an outdoor event in Texas where the weather literally changes every 5 minutes. It will be hailstorming and
Literally.
5 minutes later be bright, sunshiny day.
Beautiful and sunny.
So that's number one with no backup plan. Then you have this man on the phone crying like somebody did this to the event. Not that it started raining. I was just like, sir,
Like,
if you don't get it to fucking together, are you not an event coordinator? Is this not something you deal with all the time?
I was so confused. I was waiting for a gala to be had. And I said, this is not a gala. This is a cocktail party. If even that.
No,
It
truly.
looked
Like,
like a house party. You know what it
well,
reminded me of when like you have all your friends over for New Year's Eve. So everyone's super dressed up, but you're in your house and you're playing like ratchet fun music. You're just dancing, you're taking shots. Like you guys are like getting down, but clearly you're getting down in a way because you're at the homie's house.
well,
That's
I
just
was
what it
like,
felt.
how many different, first of all, two things. The way Cynthia says tequila instead of tequila is
I thought she was
driving
being
me
funny at first, but she keeps doing it.
insane. Second, this is not our first venture with Cynthia and an alcohol brand. I don't know if you remember, she had that Seagram's shit.
Oh no, but that was real because she
I
was
don't
just
think this is fake.
well, she was doing like promo for Seagram. She wasn't actually like she didn't buy into Seagram's.
Okay, okay, I get what you're
She was,
saying.
you know what I mean? It
Okay,
was like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
a brand deal.
Well, that was them. I mean, that's pretty much, I mean, I feel like Atlanta's giving a little bit. A lot of people, again, are like not into it, but I'm entertained.
No, okay, so I was talking to my friend who I think she acts just like Angela. They're like they have like similar mannerisms, and she's like,
Hmm.
I don't know, I'm bored. I'm like, Chelsea, how are you bored? It's so good. But can we talk about how pretty they all are without makeup?
Pretty, like,
I was like,
I love how we
Angela
all have
without
the
makeup?
shared experience of Black women that first thing in the morning, this hair is going to be in a bonnet. And I feel like the women of Potomac would never be seen on camera in a bonnet, but I love that Atlanta's just cool like that.
Yeah. Phaedra put her cute little turban thing on. But of course, Kelly had to come down in workout gear and 6-inch Louboutins.
She's such a loser. She's just such a loser. Let's talk about Rhode Island. The episode was kind of insane in the last half, but we start off with what I feel is a very important topic, and that is women and the hormonal changes that come with menopause. This is
Girl.
something. Now, let me preface this by saying we are not anywhere close to menopause, Courtney and I, okay?
No.
However, after 35, we have too experienced some hormonal changes in which we don't feel the same as we once did at 25. It's natural, it happens. What
So
I
insane.
love is that this conversation is getting brought up so much more outside of
Yeah.
housewives, but like Oprah's done specials on it because it is an underrepresented topic in the community of women's health. And the tests to find out whether or not you're perimenopausal or where you're deficient hormonally, most insurances don't cover it. Most women experience, when Liz was going down the list of things that she experienced when she was going through menopause, her and Dolores, and the feeling nuts and the depression. And I mean, I've read things from skin changes where women's ears itch constantly, the insomnia.
No, my
Um,
mom, she went through hell. And she was also really mean and she didn't talk about it. She just like
Nobody
she was
talks
just
about it.
it was so mean and we didn't know why. I was like, why is my mom evil? And then a few years later, she's like, yeah, I just started menopause. I was like, well, girl, I would have been a lot lenient on you if you would have just said because you can't control your hormones.
And then let it sink in. How many middle aged women are walking around this planet going through this, right? Like, and I'm not saying that to say there's a bunch of unhinged women walking around, but you say it to say extend a little kindness and
Yeah.
understanding to the women in your life because it really is the trenches out here sometimes when we're talking about the emotional stability as it leads to, and then when you have things like endometriosis, PMDD, when you have all these other things in addition to that, it's just like hormonal haywire. So I love that she's come up with a solution to this through herbal remedies. Back in the day, Whoopi Goldberg had a line of cannabis stuff that was for like
Ooh.
PMS stuff. And it wasn't like the flower, but it was like salves and things like that. I
Hmm.
think alternative medicine, when it comes to hormones, is always something that can be appreciated because
And it's
not
better
everybody wants
too.
to be on antidepressants or medication.
My mom got on medicine for her hormones and she gained so much weight. And, as black women, they just thought she was like being dramatic. They're like, well, you're not going to be as skinny as you once were. And she's like, no, but I am gaining weight at a rapid way and I'm not eating
And if you're an
anymore.
active person and
Yeah.
seemingly nothing has changed, like I know your mom's really active.
Yeah. So she
Um,
was like, no, this is not normal. I'm not just sitting down eating fast food every day, but I'm gaining
yeah,
weight. So it's
yeah.
like, I was really happy to see this too. And it's like, this is what I like my housewives older. I like them
But
50.
I will say this, every time I see a successful white man or white woman on TV celebrating their wins in the cannabis industry, I'ma
Mm-hmm.
say free all the bros that are locked up for weed to this day that
It's
don't get
insane.
to benefit from those same benefits. But I digress.
So
Um Ashley and Amanda Francis from Beverly Hills need to stop telling their husbands financial business on these shows.
it's like, and I think it's a certain millennial that like, yeah, women are making money and we're just as successful as men, if not more, and more educated than men. Yeah, but you don't need to talk about it all the time with your husband because if he did the same things, we would be upset with him. It's
It's interesting
weird.
to see it in reverse, though, right? Because normally we see husbands like, oh, I wish my wife would quit
Mhm.
that silly little side job she's got and just come work with me,
Yeah.
right? But seeing a woman do that is interesting because, again, it's like such a shift and change and a sign of the times that her as an influencer, let that sink in, as an influencer, she doesn't even have to leave the house to make six figures. And this
Yeah.
man has a brick and mortar business. Like, I saw a post the other day and it was like, in 1985, somebody could work at Sears and retire from that job. Like the person that worked in appliances had a wife and kids and a mortgage and bills. You know what I'm
And the
saying?
wife probably didn't work.
Yeah, and today that's a side job, right? So it's
Mhm.
interesting to see the change economically speaking, where like that is now how people make money, and a brick and mortar coffee restaurant or coffee shop is struggling to survive because you
And
got the
I'm like,
big chains like Starbucks, and I'm sure in Rhode Island they're on every corner just like they are in every other
yeah.
part of this
Oh no, they're
country.
probably Dunkins out there.
Even worse, another big chain, or in fact, it is Dunkin' because they said something about it earlier in the
Mm.
season. But I'm just like, we get it. He's not in the black, and it's a passion project at this point. We get it. But bringing this up every episode, like they
We
said
get
about
it. He
Amanda
has no
Francis,
money from this coffee shop.
yeah, and
I
it's
want to be
like,
like, why don't y'all start making some TikToks in the coffee shop?
and from what I kind of saw, he kind of was like, yeah, if it doesn't work out in the long run, yeah, of course I'll give it up. Like that's what I remember him kind of intimating.
Yeah.
So
But
it's
I
like,
think now he's like, we're gonna be on a TV show. Let me see if I can get a second wind.
yeah, no, agreed. Hold on just a second. I gotta get this thing on the charger. My phone's about to die. Hold on 2 seconds. Okay, you guys, it's been a long night, so that's our last pause. I'm so sorry about that. So, anyways, um, Alicia was telling her biz to the gram earlier this week. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Actually, I think I might have taken a screenshot.
Is it the Bravo breakup plan? You know how like a lot of first season
Yeah.
housewives they come on here to launch the fact that they're gonna leave their
Hmm.
their man? Is that what we think is going
And I
on
want
here?
that for her because he just to when I found out that man wasn't even Italian and Pizza Mama
Somebody
is
somebody said they
her
think
story.
they think he wants a piece of her pizza empire and that he's playing the long game. But yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, like in the car scene when he was like helping her learn to drive or whatever, they don't seem like they're like super duper in love. or like that they fuck with each other heavy. They just kind of seem like they've been together for a long time and this is just kind of what it is. Like this, here
They
we
seem
are.
like friends. I can't
Yeah.
imagine them hunching
Yeah.
at
Um,
all.
we get dinner at Rula's house with Alicia, her husband, and that Decepticon that Rula calls a husband. And why
His
is
cocktail of
this
medicine
man
was wild.
microdosing Ozempic and steroids?
I'm kind of into it, I'm not gonna lie.
I was just like, surely as a doctor, the medical board may or may not frown upon that.
Would they? Well, I guess because of steroids.
Well, yeah, and then like you're prescribing it to yourself. I don't know like that's like compliance wise smart. I
Yeah,
don't
like getting
know.
high off
I
your own
don't, and then
supply.
you're getting on TV and you're bragging about it.
Well,
Something
he
to
was
me,
drunk as a skunk.
well, to me, you're inviting CMS or what's known as the regulator of healthcare. You're inviting them into your claims. You're inviting them into your books at this point by making
Yeah, for
statements like
sure.
that. It's
I
like
was just like
nobody has ever watched Joe and Teresa Giudice. You know, it's like nobody has
him
ever.
saying he was getting her drunk while he stayed sober. I said, yuck. I my
Oh yeah,
skin
that
crawled.
was weird. That was weird.
I was like, Brian, I was starting to like you with your microdosing of steroids and Ozempic, but saying you got her drunk was weird.
Well, he's just a terrible cheater too, because it was clear that he got a call from the mistress at the table.
Can I go to the bathroom? Oh yeah, that was just an emergency work call.
Like he
Your
does
foot
not have a
doctor.
poker face. No poker face at all. So
I
it's
just
like,
want her to tell the girls, I'm letting my husband cheat in peace.
well, it
Shut up
begs
about
the
it.
question again. Rula, what's in it for you? What are you getting out of this? Because we know what he's getting out of this. What are you getting out of this? Because it doesn't seem like she's going to hurt to leave him financially.
I guess we're just gonna have to
She's not
watch and see.
ugly,
Because
you
I'm very
know.
confused as
She
well.
seems to be very desired in every way in the Rhode Island streets. So I
She's a
just
very
don't
classy woman.
is it ego? Is it just like I want people to
I think she does not want to have a second divorce. You saw the way she's like, don't mention it.
true?
Like she went to prison or something. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I really think she
Um
does not want that second divorce and she's gonna make it work. Because she seems very cultured in her culture,
Sure, yeah. And you know what's interesting about Rula that you see is, and what I like about Rhode Island as a whole is, these are not like waspy American whites. These are European ethnic whites, right? Because you have
Yeah.
Italian Americans, and then Rula is Turkish. Was that right?
No, she is Syrian and
Syrian.
Lebanese.
Syrian and Lebanese. So again, you're getting, gosh, now my phone is answering me, not you, Siri. Um,
Oh,
Syrian and Lebanese. So I love it when you get cultures other than what we're already super familiar with on Housewives. I always think
hmm.
it brings, it's just that like historically, when we've had those housewives in the past, they've been pains in the ass, like Peggy from Orange County. And that has
Even her
nothing to
husband
do,
was like,
that has
you were
nothing to do
raised
with her
here.
ethnicity and everything to do with her as a person.
She was just even her husband was like, why do you act like you don't know English? You have an English degree from UCLA and you were raised here since you were two.
Yeah, it was just like, and I like
In
that Rula,
California.
yeah, Rula is very, much herself and into her culture, but at the same time, like we did get to see that she has two worlds. She's got these friends and then she's got her Syrian friends. I think they were,
Yeah.
or Lebanese friends, her
Yeah,
Lebanese.
I think they're
Yeah.
Lebanese.
So either way, it was like, when you are from a different ethnicity than American, that is kind of how life is. You have like your American friends, you have your friends that are your friends from your culture, and that's what makes America
And they'll
America.
gaslight you into staying with your cheating husband because it's the culture.
Well, actually, her Lebanese friends were like, fuck the old tradition. Leave them if they're treating you bad, right? I mean, that's what they told her at that lunch.
Yeah, that's true.
But we get Joellen and her mom finally, and Joellen they go to her grandfather's house before it gets sold after he's passed away. And we get a scene where she's confronting her mom about why'd you do it? Why'd you give me up? And basically her mom was like, parenting was too hard.
No, and
Like,
honestly, it's like
right?
no, she said I was overwhelmed, which was crazy because
And I
but
mean, but
this
Joellen
must have
held her
been
feet to the fire. She goes, "What overwhelmed you?" Because I like boys. And she's
was
like,
it
"No,
after her dad had died? It had to be after her
it
dad
was
had
after
died.
her dad died."
Maybe her mom was also probably depressed.
Well, that's not what she said. She said that she just didn't know what to do.
No, but I don't think that generation knows that maybe she was also depressed and grieving and overwhelmed with parenting.
The
And
reason why I'm not buying that as an excuse for her is because she was quickly able to identify what it felt like for her as a child when her
mm,
mother treated her the same way. So the reason why I'm not buying the depression for her is because she identified in that conversation, I treated you this way because I didn't know how to parent you because that's how I was parented. I didn't know any
and
better.
honestly, that's like a big thing where you had a bad mom, and either I feel like you break that cycle and you're the best mom in the world, or you do the same thing. And thankfully, Joellen is breaking that cycle. But I listened to two judgy girls interviewed her, and they're not speaking
Oh, her and her mom.
because basically her mom watched the episode and got her feelings hurt all over again of hearing Joellen talk about it, like in confessionals or with friends, whatever. So like her sister and her mom, they like had a brunch. So Joellen didn't go. And then I think she might have seen her sister on Mother's Day, but she's like, me and my mom, we aren't talking. She's like, and I just need some
Oh.
space to focus on me and my family. And I was like, oh, I hate that.
Oh,
But
I
you know,
really hate, but you know what? As I watched that scene, I have to be honest, it didn't feel genuine. It felt like acting coming from both sides. While I think it is like an honest conversation, it almost felt like they've had this conversation before and they reenacted it or something. Like something told me this isn't gonna stick.
I also feel like the mom was just saying what she needed to say to get her happy in the moment.
Sure.
Like, okay, girl,
Yeah.
you want a sorry? I'm sorry. Here. Now shut up.
And I love you. I mean, can't you just accept me for who I am now? And can we just start over?
And
Because
I
it
think a
sounds like
lot
too,
of
she was trying to say like low key, she was a distant grandmother as well. Did you kind of get that?
yeah, I mean, I think her mom comes around because it sounds like they all live very close, but I don't think her mom is like the grandma she envisioned. Like, oh my God, I'm like, the grandparents that like steal the kids from you because they're so obsessed.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we'll see you in 2 weeks. I think she's more like, yeah, I go to the birthday parties. Oh, you want me to watch them? Okay, call me, but I'm not gonna call you to take them. That's
Yeah.
like the vibe I got.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Like my grandma wasn't super. It's not that she wasn't maternal, but she was a young grandma. Like my grandma was in her late 30s when I was born. So she wasn't trying to watch no grandkids
She
a
was a
lot.
hot
You know what I
girl.
mean? Like she was
She
like, I
still
got
is a
things,
hot girl.
yeah, I got things going on. Like I'm not trying to watch these kids. Like, they could be over here for a day. That's about it. Until like
Yeah.
we got older, she got older, life slowed down for her. So I don't know if maybe some of that plays into Joellen's mother or maybe guilt keeps her away. I don't know, but
It's a very complicated mother-daughter relationships are so beautiful, but also so complicated because at the end of the
well,
day, it's two women.
I feel like too, there's so much that's being left unsaid. There's too much to unpack for us as viewers in the
Yeah.
history in like three
They need
episodes.
like a therapist to dig deep because yeah, it's too
Remember
much
that
and we just
show,
met them.
like those therapy shows on VH1 with those doctors? That's what they need. One of those
Yeah.
with Dr. Drew. Well, not Dr. Drew, but one of those.
Can we get into the 1 square foot, the 2 square foot? Guess what? I don't care what size Rosie's house is. It's weird. And Kelsey, as someone who moved out when she was 33 years old, I get it. I understand. But you need to actually pay your own bills to say you're on your own. You don't like she'll never get it. It's so strange to me that she's acting like this is some renaissance. You're
Well,
not
did
paying for
Rosie invite
anything.
her over to do her hair, or do you think she invited her over to flex?
I think it was a bit of both. I think Rosie really thought they were going to try to be friends because, they're the same person basically. So shouldn't be beefing with yourself. But then I think she also wanted to be like, yeah, bitch, look at my house plans.
Well, what's interesting to me is like low key, it took Kelsey a minute to like, oh wait, this bitch is coming for me. Like she wasn't catching it at first. If you noted, like she was
Yeah, she
not
was
catching it at all.
that whole interaction. Kelsey seemed very confused. Like, I don't think Kelsey has much going on in the brain.
Well, why did she put it on her car? Like the square footage. What the fuck was up with that?
Oh, the speaker?
Yeah.
Cherie, I'm sorry, I didn't laugh. I didn't find that funny. It was so unfunny to me.
And I
It
feel like that's what made Rosie say, okay, bitch, that's it. I'm about to unleash
no,
on you.
she was like right after that because why are you coming into my nice white neighborhood with a blowhorn talking about square footage, Felice? You live in a fucking apartment that could be taken from you at any moment.
And then in real time, she just did Vial Files and said that she's confused as to why this was even a storyline for Kelsey. Because to her knowledge, and to most people's knowledge in Rhode Island, that relationship with the sugar daddy boyfriend has
Oh yeah, it's
been
been
done.
done.
They have been not together. She was not living in that house prior to filming.
I think what
So,
happened was when they got the green light for the show, she was still with the man. And from what I kind of gather, it took them a minute to start filming, like 6, 7 months. So I think they broke up in between then, but she was like, they cast me because I was living this life. And now I'm not
and he
living
was
this life.
generous enough to be like, yeah, you can film in the house I'm never at. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
he was like, yeah, I'm actually down in Miami with my bad bitch from Colombia. So yeah, you can be in the house for a minute. I
Well,
think
when I
that's what
tell you
happened.
like Rosie, in the words of somebody, I think Bethany said this about Luann, she got a divorce and grew a dick. Like, that's basically Rosie in a nutshell. I mean, she said, Kelsey, basically, she said, fuck your bitch and the set you claim. She said that you basically your only claim to fame is one singular pageant, and you didn't even wear win that fair and square. Your dude bribed the judges and paid them off. Basically, she said, dear Darla, I hate your freaking guts. I mean, she did not Kelsey did not get a word in. Then she said, get the fuck out of my house. Now, Courtney, you know I love to throw somebody out. I
You
don't
love to
give a fuck.
you
I will throw
do.
you out in a second.
You
Friend,
do.
foe, I've thrown friends out. I've thrown enemies out. You can get to step in. It is my motto. But she threw her out, basically physically assaulted her. And that's when Kelsey was like, wait a minute, bitch, let me back in
It's
this.
like because you could tell Kelsey was like, and then I don't like her. She's like, it's a joke. Get it, laugh. I'm like, you are not my Queen Teresa. Not too much.
And
Not too
it's
much.
not funny. Like, you guys are not friends enough to know to cross those kinds of jokey joke lines. It's like knowing when to call another girl a bitch or not, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's certain women you can be like, bitch, and they're cool with it. And there's certain women they're like, oh, me and my friends don't do that. We don't call each other a bitch. Like, fine, to each his own.
Okay,
But
fun
like,
police.
you have to know who to do that with and who not to do that with. And I just feel like Kelsey's under the impression that they're closer than they are and she can play with her like that. But you're not even playing with her like that. You're doing that backhanded, I'm playing with you
It
thing.
was so uniconic. But the thing that offended me the most about it all is Rosie's home decor and outfit choices.
That outfit, there's a show on Apple TV called Physical, and it's about this woman who becomes an aerobics instructor.
I was gonna say, is
Phenomenon.
it like let's get
Yes.
physical?
And her outfits on that show, mind you, it's set in like 1984, are like stolen from Rosie's closet.
She
Oh my God. I
cannot
said, what
dress.
in the Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat is going on?
She has so much leopard print. And I love leopard print, but she has so much leopard print in her house. It's all different types of leopard print. None of it makes sense. She has that like that neon sign. I was like,
Well,
if
that's
you're
kind of
building a
my
house
issue,
from
like with people with big houses and very little money. Like, I don't think her and her dude are like bajillionaires, right? I don't think they have Alicia money.
I don't think money
So
is the issue though.
It
I think
is because you don't have the means. Well, it's not about money because money does not equal taste. There's like people like Jennifer Aiden in the world.
money
But
can't buy you class.
exactly, a mantra. But my point is when you don't have in her case, I don't think the issue is taste so much as it's that she doesn't have the funds to decorate and make that place look like $1 million.
It's taste. No, because remember that house is like they haven't expanded it yet. It's like the little one bedroom, whatever. I think it's like 1,500 square feet. My issue with her house is the taste. Go back and look at because I had to rewind because
Like
it was
Teresa's
so
house.
I would prefer Teresa's house because at least
Oh,
Teresa was trying to be like Italian castle or whatever
were
that.
there windows in Teresa's house? Why did it always seem like there were no windows in there?
You're right.
It was always so dark and dungeony.
Her new house is decorated much better,
And
but
there are windows. You see the
yeah,
windows.
it's
There's
still
light.
very Jersey, but go go back and just look at her house. Everything is just so poorly decorated. It's very upsetting. It's very upsetting. But she's just but I did like her and I think I might be able to tell them apart after this episode.
Sure, I got their names right in this, so
Hmm.
that's good. But yeah, that's how the episode ended with Kelsey getting physically assaulted. Cameras let her back in the house, which I don't think what I think that was an off the cuff moment when they let
No,
her
it
back
was
in
because
house.
they could tell they were like, wait a minute, hold on.
Keep the
In case
cameras
we have
going.
gold.
Yeah.
So I love how they just opened the door and they looked at her like, you can just
Yeah,
come.
go back in. Go back in. Yeah. But that was them.
I said,
So
oh, these producers are messy.
we'll see how that ends up next week. We have the more serious shows left that are more of a drag. So we
That
have,
bummed me out every Wednesday.
where do you want to go? You want to go to the Valley or you want to go to Southern
Yeah, because I
Hospitality?
cannot spend a lot of time on the valley. It bums me out too hard.
In a nutshell, we pick up with Danny being a king asshole and Lala reading him for filth. He's mocking Lala. He's,
Which was
you know,
so disgusting. If a woman says
what
she's
was more
triggered, you're gonna mock
disgusting was
her.
Jesse Lolly sitting there like this.
So what was it? I think I was listening to Watch What Crappens, and they said exactly what we said. They were like, Jesse was so comfortable.
Like when he came out in the dress and dropped it like it was hot, he
Wait,
was like, bump all that. I'm ready
I
for
was
my moment.
kind of into it. I like Jesse in the jumpsuit.
Yeah, so Danny is losing it. I will say that he's 3 sheets to the wind. Like he is
So
drunk
drunk. He
and
is so
continuing to
drunk.
drink. Like we see him go back and get another beer even in this moment. And so Lala's like, I can't. Like I need to get myself out of this situation. And so she does, and Nia keeps, pacifying him. And so they're able to finally get through enough to where they can do the damn beauty pageant with the guys and be done with this shit. And so, nothing much to tell there. It was a good tea or whatever. The guys
Zach
look
should
like
have
idiots.
won. Zach was a
Um,
pretty woman,
they all looked like men in dresses, including Zach.
but he was the prettiest. Um, what's his name? Van Gogh. He looked like one of those shy, nerdy
Shut up!
girls.
Who the fuck is Van Gogh? I know you're not talking about Luke.
Yes, Luke. Yeah, Luke.
Why
He looks
did
like
you
Van
call
Gogh.
that man Van Gogh,
That's
Courtney?
what I always default to when I can't remember his name. He just doesn't give Luke.
Oh my god.
Everyone calls him Van Gogh.
What? I've never heard that.
Everyone calls him Van Gogh.
I've
He looks just
never
like Van Gogh.
had.
But doesn't
Oh,
he
that
look
was
like a shy, nerdy girl that would be like dirty in bed, like just filthy, nasty in bed?
um well, he's Caucasian and I'm under the impression that in general they just don't know what they're doing in those situations. So
They
I have a
do.
hard time. I
Some
have
of
a
them
hard
do.
time. Like I imagine them dancing and how that translates into rhythm in other
Hmm.
places, and it often makes me perplexed. So to answer your question, I'm not sure if I agree with that about Van Gogh.
No, him as a woman, not him as him.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
He
maybe.
just he just looked like one of those nerdy girls that are like nasty in bed.
To me, he was the most like passable. Like I agree with him as the winner. Very petite,
He's very
small
wait.
shoulders.
I realize why Danny gets so wasted. He has like no body fat. He is ripped.
Also, he looks like a thumb.
No, he always looks like this. You're right. He's like
And like I think he wanted to win really bad this drag contest because he was like strutting his stuff even when they weren't contesting. Like he was like walking around and every time the cameras caught him, he was like adjusting his synthetic wig as Lala called it. And it was and then also too like
three. What if Nia pegs him?
oh,
Can't you see it?
I
Can't you
would
see
think
it?
that only I don't see her doing that. I don't. She
Well, I
seems too
do.
virginal to me to even
Mm-mm.
like.
She seems
I'd
like
be
the type.
shocked if if even participates in the fellation.
No, she seems like she would get dirty in bed, but she wants you to believe.
But
But don't you see him liking a little pegging?
well, sometimes super Christians though. Ooh, might
Hmm.
need to leave this one in the voice note. But sometimes super Christians though they stick to like missionary because like yeah.
Yeah, but I don't believe Danny's a real Christian, you know? I think like
No,
I think he's like
for sure.
I think he's a dirty dog,
1000% because what we see him do is disrespect his wife, but he does the quiet disrespect where he's not raising his voice, he's not calling her a bitch, he's
which is
not,
worse.
yeah, saying get the fuck out of my face. He's just treating her like shit. Like it's not
If we
what
can
he's
fire
saying, it's
Jax,
how he's saying it.
we need to fire Danny because
He,
his
I would equate
behavior.
him more with like Tom Sandoval. Because remember how Tom would like just
No,
land,
yes. Yes,
you
but
know
I
what I
just mean
mean?
a man that's like
No, no,
being
no. I get what you're saying. I get what you're
abusive
saying.
like behavior, you know?
Yeah. No,
But yeah,
agreed.
he's that quiet
He's the
that
soft
you're
kind
right.
of dick.
Sandoval would do those little like disses to Ariana where
Like when
he'd be like
Ariana was like,
quiet.
"We had sex the other day." Yeah, and you kept your shirt on the whole time.
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing. That's the
Or
kind
when
of
he's like
thing.
yelling at women, Aaron's like, we're not doing that. He's like, of course you never have my back.
Right. And that's exactly on some shit like Danny did because
Yep.
eventually what
Under
I will
this
give
little
Nia is I don't know how much therapy she's been through or what, but she is very good at communicating and trying to have an active communicating
mm-hmm.
relationship because she takes him outside the next morning after he's disrespected her. Everybody has seen it. Everybody's uncomfortable, but
So
nobody is
embarrassing.
saying anything. So the next morning, they have a conversation. Well, even that night, before the next morning, she sits him down and she says, now again, I don't know why her and Amanda from Summer House like to have deep conversations when with their husbands when they're inebriated, but here we are. She sits him down while he's drunk and she says, dude, you've been so rude to me all night. And I really don't understand where it's coming from. I'm not saying you owe me an apology, but I do think at minimum you owe Lala an apology. That makes him incensed. And he
He's all
starts,
red.
yeah, he starts telling her she needs to de-mic so that he can go off on her in private,
No,
basically.
when he said that, I said, girl, you in danger.
Yeah, and then he goes in the house and gets another beer, then proceeds to SA Zach's fake breasts.
It was all so much. I was like, this can't be real.
It was
This cannot be
so
real.
much. And I know it was because clearly I remember it in successive detail. So they go home. She eventually gets her drunk ass husband out of the house. They go home and he wakes up like a totally different person, all reflective. And she basically says, I want to check in with you because I don't understand what was going on yesterday. I don't know what I've done to you to deserve for you to be so disrespectful to me and so disrespectful to other women in this house, namely Lala. And he agrees that he does owe Lala an apology begrudgingly. But ultimately, I don't believe Danny thinks anything's wrong with his behavior because he
No.
canceled his own Watch What Happens live. appearance
No,
this
no,
week.
Sheree, he booked a gig.
Right. He canceled his own WWHL gig this week, which we all know is kind of like a no-no. It's like not going to your parents' house for dinner. You know what I mean?
But I watch and Andy's like, no, I think he really did because like he's gonna have to talk to me eventually. And I said, watch him not show up to the reunion.
Well, and I would think that too, except for literally the next day before the episode's gonna air, he posts some iOS press release to his Instagram story saying, Nia, you are my queen. You are my life. I'm sorry I ever disrespected you. I love you. You're the mother of my children. I'm going to do better. Blah, 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 blah. And I said, I guess that was easier than going on Watch What Happens Live and having a caller call in and nail your ass to the wall on live TV. Because it was just like, sir, what are you doing? And so that was pretty much it. I mean, he got off, but what I walked away from is, and people can feel how they want to feel about me saying this because I know it's like the unpopular thing to say justice for Janet and her husband because they simply were trying to tell us last season that this man and this family and Brittany as well, and God don't make me defend Tits McGee, but Brittany also last year was going through a hard year with her separation from Jax and
From
bearing
a
it all.
psycho person,
Like
Jax.
literally a DV situation, you know.
Literally, he threw a table at her.
You know what I'm saying? And she's bearing it all out there, but we can't talk about the fact that Danny, father of four, is passed out in the bed because he's been drinking all day.
You know what pissed me off with that is like, just say, yeah, he drank too much and he went to sleep. You guys were wine
Just
tasting.
like everybody else here, he would have been in good company. Everybody's been drinking all day. Everybody's acting a fucking
But
fool
she
because
wants
they've
to
been
keep it
drinking
under
all
wraps because
day.
she knows her husband has a drinking problem. I'm sorry, but if you completely change who you are when you are drunk, you have a drinking problem.
And people have to understand there is a difference between having a drinking problem and being a full blown alcoholic. Okay? There's levels to this. Just because
Exactly.
somebody says you shouldn't drink doesn't mean that anyone thinks you should go to a 12-step program. But if it dramatically alters your mental state in a negative way where the people you love, Kyle Cook, are constantly coming to you and saying, when you're inebriated, I don't like to be around you. I don't like how you speak to me. You make me uncomfortable. You sexually harassed one of our friends in inebriated states. These are all things that I would like you to get a hold of because we have four kids and I don't need you getting DUIs. I don't need you further embarrassing me. But by sweeping this under the rug, you're
It's
not
only
doing
going to turn
either
out
of
bad.
yourselves any favors.
It's only going to turn out bad. And it's just like, it's just so annoying that what pisses me off the most is Kristen being like, I've never seen him talk to her like that.
Dude, what the fuck is up with Kristen and this plausible deniability with these two? Even in real time,
It's
I've seen
weird.
her in people's comments like Danny's being judged by one blip on the radar. That was one moment. I have
We've
been
seen three
around this
seasons.
family. They are good people. She is actively in people's comments defending him.
We've seen him act. And the thing with Janet is, I mean, I find Janet a little annoying, but your husband did touch Jasmine and her fiance in an appropriate manner.
And then you guys
Annoying or
all
not,
had the
Janet was not
nerve.
lying.
And then you all had the nerve to be like, okay, well, get over it already. We've already talked about this. You don't get, in the words of Funky Dineva, you don't do wrong to a motherfucker and then tell them how mad to get
You
or when
don't.
they can talk about it. And then for Janet to go and sit down, like, Janet, please stop trying to apologize to Nia because Nia is so self righteous. It is never going to penetrate. You could literally, because she's like, I just didn't feel the sincerity in it. Well, what more could she say? What else did you want her to say?
I'm
I'm not.
over. I'm starting to like Janet this season. She's finally getting a good season. She's finally mellowing out. Be done with it. Nia needs to go. Her husband needs to go. And if Kristen keeps wanting to act like this, she can go too. And I love
I'm
Crazy
so
Kristen.
glad. Like, again, I'm not going to say I full on like her yet. Give her
Who?
one more season. Lauren from Utah. Because I did like that at that lunch at the end, she tells Kristen, I understand that from these people, you may have a tainted understanding of what Janet and this situation with Danny is like. I am
Mhm.
telling you, as somebody from the outside looking in, what I witnessed. I'm new eyes, and I'm telling you, this man has issues.
And she waited to say something. I was actually very proud of Lala because
That's
normally
what I'm saying. I'm
people will
like,
miss pop out.
perhaps
And
there's shown growth. That's how you do it, Stassi. But I
I will
just
always have a love hate with Lala. I'll always love her and she'll always get on my damn nerves. But
what else? I think that was pretty much all that happened in that episode. Like I said, it's always a drag.
no, but can we talk about Zach is a bad friend?
He is such a bad friend, and he's a flip floppity ass bitch. He flip
He
flops
is.
so much. What he did to Brittany at that lunch was
That could have
like,
been a side. To me, when you have a best friend for that long, it's almost like a marriage. You shut up in public and you say something in private. We're gonna be
like
like, well, you don't like Nia.
we've been friends for a long time. There are certain things I'm going to like if you were acting like a fake ass
Wait,
bitch in front of somebody who I knew that for a fact you sat and talked cash money shit about with me, later on I'm going to be like, "Yo, what the fuck was it that? So you like this bitch now? That's what you're telling me?" But in person, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, Courtney, that's where we're at. That's what you're trying to do. So you didn't say that bitch was
oh,
ugly."
remember last week you were saying that bitch is stupid.
Right.
I don't get everyone's obsession with Nia. She is pretty, sure.
I
I
mean,
don't get the I don't get the obsession.
maybe if she showed that figure a little bit more and got up out of those trad wife dresses and took
Well,
down
she
the
did
little house
just,
on the.
but she's been pregnant. He keeps her pregnant.
I was gonna say I wouldn't know what she looks like in her natural state. I don't think I've ever really seen the bitch not pregnant. I mean, I know she
She
wasn't pregnant
probably
last
forgot what
season.
she looked like not pregnant.
And then it's like you had this breast consultation about a mommy makeover and shit last season, only to get knocked up again to
Four
complain.
kids is
What kills me
tacky.
about women like Nia is you get knocked up and then you complain about how hard it is to be a mom.
This is not your first baby.
I know it's hard, and I'm not discounting that. Motherhood is probably the toughest hood in the world. But it's like, leave me out of it. You chose to have these babies. Here they are. Take care of them and shut up about
I'm
it. Leave me
sorry.
alone.
At four, I don't want to hear you complain. Four is too many. Four is tacky. It's a tacky number of kids. Like, why do you have so many children? I don't want to hear you complain because you had twins. Now you're being greedy. You didn't need the fourth baby. So I don't want to hear that you're tired and you're this and you're that. But mama,
She
you knew
had to
this was
have the
going to
fourth
happen.
because Danny wanted the fourth, and Danny is king. And
Yeah.
Lala also did bring up the fact that, like, they're super Christian. Lala brought that up, and that
Mm-hmm.
she knows that with some people that are super duper Christian, it is the man's world, and the woman is underneath the man's thumb and
Yeah.
whatever it is that he
And
wants to
Lala grew up
do.
in Utah, so she would know
Sure, sure.
firsthand how that kind of crazy, not crazy, but deeply Christian.
Yeah. Almost fanatical, depending
Yeah.
on how you look at it. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
me.
that was pretty much them. Rounding it out in our marathon of discussion tonight, we're going down to Charleston for Southern Hospitality. Not a ton happened in this episode. We
It was a
got
good episode until Emmy showed up. I like didn't even realize she was gone because I was having fun. And then she popped up and I was like, "Ah."
Because that's basically what it was. But I do think that Joe Bradley, again, is smoking a particular brand of crack that hasn't hit the streets yet. Because you've thrown one successful event, and low key, the event you threw, Courtney, you and I could throw that event. We know enough people between the two of us where we could have thrown that same event. It's not
Literally.
hard. You now think that that has earned you the right to sit down the Bonapartes and give them a business proposal. You are these are not this is not Lisa and Todd, and you are
Yeah.
not Tom Tom. This is
And the
not
only
going to be
reason
that.
why Lisa gave Tom Tom because she had an idea and came to them because she wanted to use their name and their likeliness. She was
And their
not just out.
percentage in Tom Tom is very small.
It's 5% for the both of them.
It's very small.
This is
So
my thing. Joe, Why would they give you? Why would they partner with you?
Every time you've spoken to Leva this season, it has been her basically saying, you are doing less than bare minimum, and I don't take you seriously right now. So, yeah, you are one iota short of being away from being at the unemployment line.
It's so confusing to me, Sheree.
He's
Like,
just like,
I truly don't think I get it. Like, he's like, yeah, people want to work with me, but my loyalty to the Bonapartes, I don't think they
when
want
he
it.
said that, I said, oh, I'm sure they're grateful.
I don't think they want it.
Like, I just, and I
I,
mean,
I I'm so confused.
Um, I was really rooting for Mia, but she's letting this white man back in, the
Look,
one that is
let me tell
not
you,
willing to relocate.
I have a lot of girlfriends who are ethnic. When an ethnic woman just wants a white man so bad, I don't even get invested because there ain't
And
nothing
again, I don't
I can
have
say or do.
anything. This is not like I don't care about interracial dating. I don't care.
No, I do it
But
all the time.
there is just, it's never going to sit well with me when a woman of color, but particularly a black woman, throws herself at a white man who is doing bare minimum. You were with this man for what, at least 2.5 years. You made it clear that your prerequisite was that you wanted him to move to Charleston. He
She says I'm
strung,
never leaving
strung,
Charleston.
and strung you along. So then he break up with them, but whenever he comes into town, he gets to hit. Is this not now the best of both worlds for him?
Well, well, yes. I think the issue also is I don't let men know my love language because then they can use it to pacify you and just keep stringing you along.
Well,
And I
also
think
like
hers is gifts.
I know that like these are all consenting adults, but it's just I don't think I could ever sit on TV and talk about my mouth being sore from
Cherie, I was appalled. I was eating my dinner and I said, like, I clutched my pearls.
like my
I'd be like, my mom
grandmother.
and dad are gonna watch this.
Yeah, like my not bump my parent, but like my grandmother,
I was
my
gonna say,
uncles. You know what I mean? Like
I think
I that's
talking
why I'm not
about
cut
your
out for
sex life
reality
is different
TV.
than saying my jaw. Saying my jaw was sore for me was just taking it a step too far.
Or even when she was just like, yeah, we basically were fucking all weekend. I was like, work, okay, that's cool. But then when she took it that step further, I was just like, girl, we got the point. Like I
It
just
was the
kind of
straw that broke
assumed
the camel's
fellation
back.
was part of the deal.
Yeah, but somebody said that they feel like her and TJ think their banter is cooler than it is. And yes,
Sure. Agreed. Because TJ is another one that just does nothing for me.
I like him because he's so boring.
He brings a nice balance and he's often like a voice of reason sometimes
Yeah.
because he's one of the older people on this cast.
Yeah, he's my age. So he's like a grown ass man
Yeah.
compared to the little babies, the 20
Yeah.
year olds.
Not much happened with the rest. Dang, I keep hitting that microphone. Not much happened with the rest of the cast. We get Michael's basically trying again to reconcile his relationship with his mother. And watching him and his mother talk, if you've ever tried to sit your parents down, because I truly believe it's true that every parent is going to have a day where their kid comes to them and says, these are all the ways you fucked me up, and I want you to
Mm-hmm.
take responsibility for it. And if you're an ethnic person, if you're a person of any color background that is not white American and even white American, most parents are not receptive to that conversation because
Yeah.
parents have truly done, for the most part, there's like a handful of shithole parents out there.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the average parent has done what they felt was the best they could do raising their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I have to give, I've given it to my kids. So to literally have somebody come down your canal and split you from the rooter to the tutor and 20 years later come back and say, yeah, that's cool and everything, but I still don't really fuck with you like that, I'm sure is an ego blow. I'm sure it's a blow. And so
I don't even think it's an ego blow. I think it's a dagger to the heart.
Sure, yeah, but I mean, by when I say ego, I don't mean like ego as in like you owe me. I just mean like when you think you did a really good job with
Yeah.
something and
You're
somebody
like,
comes
oh,
to
I did
you.
a good job with this one. And they're like, actually, you fucking suck. And
Yeah,
now
or
I
like,
suck because of you.
you know how parents always have that kid where it's like he was so easy. I never had to do much.
Hmm.
I didn't have to parent him. Those are always the kids that come back and be like, "Well, I feel ignored by you, and I'm very self-sufficient because you never paid attention to me." Meanwhile, this parent just thought you were an easy kid. I thought you just didn't need me in the
They were like, I,
situation.
I thought we were in a rhythm.
Yeah, and so in that same vein, Michael sits down his very Dominican mother to,
Wait, doesn't she sound like Jocelyn?
yeah, and
Which is
that's not
funny because
even.
she's Puerto Rican and she's Dominican and they have distinct accents, but they just have like similar voice, like cadence.
I
Not
feel like
cadence.
it's their tone of voice more than it was the
Yes,
accent.
exact. That's what it was. They had the same tone. Because I was like, they don't speak the same, but they sound similar. It was
Yeah.
very weird. I was like, girl, do I know you?
So, unless you're new here, you're already familiar with the fact that Michaels is like, I'm gay. My mom isn't exactly
Wait, as
accepting.
Nene says, woo woo woo, I'm gay.
Yeah. And he's like, he's kind of let us know from day A with his story that his mom's less than receptive to him being gay.
But
She,
now that I think about it, let's take it a step further. Remember his first season? He talked about how his mom was so upset he was gay, but his stepdad was very like supportive and his mom quit speaking to him. Like he dragged her.
and I definitely think part of her coming on this show and doing all this is to because she felt like she was made to look bad. And I
I
feel
think she's
like,
like, I need to tell my side of the story
yes.
because let me tell you, I have very hard parents. Like I've literally been bawling, crying, and my dad was like, "Hey, you need to stop with all that. You ain't white. You can't be crying like that."
Hmm.
So I get it, and I'm a more like emotional person. So I it's like I was flip flopping because while his mom was like calling him a crybaby, I was like, "Yo, that's mean." But then I was like, "Michaels, you do be crying a lot." Like
Well, it's
I
like
didn't know whose
it's
side. Like
very layered because the thing is this,
yeah.
right? Let's I mean, you have a parent with like seven cameras in front of them in a restaurant, sitting in front of a window, and you decide to say, "Hey, here's the bread basket. By the way, I'm still pretty upset with you that you don't like that I'm gay." And that you don't accept that I work in the nightlife industry, and that you don't accept my wins as they come the way that I accept them. And the reason why his mom didn't want to have this conversation is because she flat out does not acknowledge his perspective as the truth. She straight up said, Michaels, you are telling lies. This is
She
not
does
true.
not even see like I understand where you're coming from, but let me show you my. She's like, no, mm-mm.
But within the conversation, as she's telling him his version's incorrect, we witness in real time what he experiences with her, which is her denying his truth. And I will say, Michaels is very emotional,
Mm-hmm.
so he doesn't know how to little cry. He Kim Kardashian cries. So in this restaurant, he said like that, and she said, Michael, stop it right now, in so many words. Like
She's
it was
like,
like Tinsley and her mom at the
I
circus.
let me tell you, one time growing up, I was never a crier. I started crying later in life. But one time, me and my mom are at PF Chang's at the Beverly Center, RIP to PF Chang's at the Beverly Center. But
R.I.P.
we're sitting there having like a very awkward lunch because I was mad at her because my teenage hormones, like I have the best mom, but you be going through it.
We all hated
And
them at one point.
exactly, like for no
We're
reason. And
sorry.
I'm like crying. And my mom is sitting there and she's like, Courtney, we're in the middle of a restaurant. You really need to get it together. And I'm like, and she's like, why don't you excuse yourself? Because now you're embarrassing us. And I'm like,
Not wrong. Not wrong.
I mean, in hindsight, yes, she's right. But it was so funny because it's like I have dealt with that with my parents. They're both very like hard. And so I'm just like, Michaels, I feel you, but I also feel your mom. It's and she's Dominican. It's just like so layered, but you could tell they have a lot of love. Like his mom is like, "Hey, you gay?" And he's like, mm-mm. She's like, "Okay."
Yeah, you can tell that it's still on some like that's fine, just don't bring your boyfriend over my house situation.
I think
Um,
she could get there, but now I do not think because then
I
when I
don't
think
think
about
he
it,
can bring them around this Christmas.
no, it's gonna take some years because when I think about it, even if you think your child is gay, you always maybe have like a vision that you envisioned in your head, but then you also have to like get used to them being gay.
Well, in a lot of gay people, I've heard stories where it's like I can be who I am. Like my parents know I'm gay, but they don't want to acknowledge it in the form of I can't bring my boyfriend over. Like they just don't hate me, but like I can't live my life out loud with them. Like I
They
can't
don't want to be in the minutia of it, but go ahead, be gay. I'm not gonna shun you. I love you. I'll
I will
send you
defend
gifts.
you to our family. I will
Yeah,
always support you.
but I don't
I
need to see
just
you and your
don't
lover.
I don't want to subscribe to that and I feel like that's where she's going to land.
Yeah. I mean,
I
I
really
feel like
do.
maybe she could come around eventually, but I don't think it'll ever be a happy ending,
If
you
you want
know?
my honest opinion, and this is harsh, but I think as long as she's getting a paycheck to film scenes, that she'll be interested in Michael's life
His gay life.
and his life in general. Because I mean, when he tells the story, and when he first came on this show in his first season, they were estranged. She wouldn't even speak to him.
I want to
So
know more about his twin. Where is she?
I mean, this lady's just done a complete 180 in 2 seasons. And yeah, part of me is like, okay, well, she saw her son hurting on national TV, but the other half of me doesn't trust it. I just don't trust that she's actually doing all this because she could barely take him seriously in that conversation. Everything he had to say, she had a response for that was dismissing his truth. She didn't accept any part of his reality as it pertained to their
Yeah.
relationship at all. So the only motivation I can see for her being in this is being on TV and getting a paycheck. And I think we've seen parents do crazier things.
Yeah. They have a weird relationship, and it's so sad because they said they were like best friends.
Well, it's sad too because you can tell that's what's going to make him whole is to be able
Mm-hmm.
to, and he's so young and he's still
He's like
searching for,
24.
yeah, and he's still really searching for who he is. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, for a lot of us, your anchor is your parents. Like your parents do kind of reinforce that you're doing the right thing, you're on the right track. And
Yeah.
when a big part of that for us is our romantic relationships, even if you're not gay, your parent accepting your partner in your life
Mm-hmm.
is a big deal. It's very difficult to
It's
be with somebody that your family doesn't accept.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even
my
enjoy
family is
life.
such a part of my everyday life. There's just
Mm-hmm.
no way it could work out. So you add the fact of being gay to it, and there's a possibility that your mother will never like any of your partners or ever accept that part of your life. That's a really hard pill to swallow. And I
Yeah.
really do feel for him because, and I don't know, maybe I was just a little triggered. Watching a parent deny their child reality in their face and then tell them to stop crying about it. Although I do think at his age, crying in the way that he cried was a bit of an overreaction.
No,
Um,
it's a bit
but to
much.
be like calling him crybaby in Spanish and you're a
At first,
liar.
I thought that was going to be like a fun little joke, like, oh, you cry, baby, come here. I love you. And then she was stone cold. I said, oh, we're not joking.
But even when he was like the other day when I called you, I was at the doctor. He said, "Yeah, but you just hung up on me. You didn't even tell me you were at the
You
doctor.
could have
You
said,
just hung
hey, I'm at the
up."
doctor. I'll call you back.
I called my mother to wish her a happy birthday. She was at the doctor. I sang a song to her for 45 seconds before she said, "Thank you. I'm at the doctor. I'll call you right back." It's that easy. It's that easy. Because you know why? She loves me. But you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's that easy. And so my point is, I get bad vibes from his mom. I'm just going to go out there and say it.
She's a little too, I'm like, there needs to be some warmth. There needs to be something. Give me
I
something.
would
She's
love to
very,
see how she interacts with his sister. Like I would
I need to
love.
see this twin because it sounds like they're still close. And
Yeah.
twins, they never grow out of that twin thing.
Like I
So
would
I
have loved
wouldn't
if he would have invited his sister on the DR trip because there was some other rando there, that brunette.
Bella that gets
Okay.
one line an episode.
I said some other rando.
No, it was killing me. And then finally, like they were at work and they were like, they showed Bella. And I was like, that's who was on the trip.
That's who was on the trip. But
Yeah,
that
we
was
still don't know
pretty
anything
much
about
it.
her.
I mean, Bravo is feeding us and
I'm
I'm
stuffed.
I'm stuffed and like it's about to get debaucherous because Love Island starts in like 2 weeks.
I'm so excited.
And I'm like beyond thrilled, but I'm also just not ready for the parasocial internet and all of their stupid, hot, not hot takes and all of their unpopular but popular opinions
Yeah.
on these people. And I think UK is going to be running simultaneously. Obviously, we're not covering UK because that's too much. I like to keep one of them to watch for fun, and UK is
Yeah.
usually what that is for me. But I can't wait. But at the same time, we're gonna have to step our pussy game up, sister, because it's gonna be overload.
It is. It
But
is.
it's
I'm
gonna be good
actually
times.
having Jakara and Laura over because we're gonna watch Summer House Reunion and Love Island season or episode one.
Oh my gosh. I wish these things were on weekends so that I could really like kick
Yeah.
my feet up and get into it. But here
But
we
I'm
are.
excited. I'm so
I know,
happy
me
you made
too.
me get into Love Island because I'm like, I love it. I'm like
And
here
then
for
I
the
tell you, I was
ride.
like, if you like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, surely you can get
Oh,
into
it's
this.
so much better.
Yeah. And as a woman who is no longer in that phase of my life, I like to watch the young ones chase
Yeah,
their dreams, find love, whether it's fake like Olandria and Nick or not.
it's real.
It's still good times. Yeah. But anywho, you know where to find us. Catch us on our Instagram. We have weekly uploads to Spotify. You can find us there. If you like the visual, which baby we are, you can catch us on
Yes, it
YouTube,
looks so much better. We're also on Apple Podcasts. Oh, and you
Apple
can get us on
Podcasts.
Amazon.
Coming soon, TBD. We're everywhere. We're in there. We will see you guys next week. Bye.
Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day.